Okay. I came back. I know. This is going to be a quick one too. Hopefully Abigail comes back on. I don't know if she goes by Abigail or Abby, but anyways. Abigail had a good question. How do you reach out? Because I just talked about the fear and letting go of that and whether you want to impact lives or are you scared to push the button. So I'm coming to you to share with you how you reach out. So it was a really good question. I didn't want to keep that too long, so I tried to cut it off, and I'm sorry, I should have mentioned a couple of these. So Angie, would you please invite Abigail and anybody else, but definitely Abigail. She had a good question. I want to wrap that up and answer that for you and give you just a couple tips. So sorry I'm coming back, but I'm coming back just for a few seconds and give you about 4 examples of verbiage. Okay, so I'm gonna give you these 4 examples and then we're gonna hop off. Okay. So when reaching out to people, so you don't look spammy, so you don't look like you are cold messaging, so you don't look like that. Okay, that's what I want to cover, is how to do that. So one of the ways, there's a couple things that I use. The first thing, there you go, Abigail, I am answering your question. The first thing that I suggest is there's several methods, but the first method is going to be your referral method. So when actually I'm going to back up. Let's scratch referral. Let's start. When I first started with Red Aspen, I reached out to people randomly, whether I'd messaged them or not. If it was somebody I'd never had a conversation with, did I comment on their stuff? Did they comment on my stuff? Had we had some kind of relationship? If we did, I messaged them and said, hey, I did a thing, or hey, I did this thing, or, kind of had this conversation with them. But if I had no rapport whatsoever and I messaged them, a lot of them I would say, hey, I noticed we'd never messaged, but I had to reach out to you. I just started blah, blah, blah. So let me think of a message I sent. A very common one was that, hey, I don't know if you saw, but I am now direct to the CEO in this, brand new social selling lash company. It's the first lash company in this industry. If you know anyone who wears lashes or would love an opportunity like this, would you please send them my way? Or that's a referral method. Or I would say, I joined this thing, and then I would say, I would really love to share more with you, or it just depends on how you're approaching them. Thanks, Angie. It just depends on how you're approaching them. My biggest, and I would have to pull my book, and we'd have to really, I know I did a video about this a while back. I have to go look for it. But I have notes on this. One of my favorite ways to reach out to someone is to flatter them. So you build them up and you flatter them. So you'd say, Angie, I love your profile. I have been watching you. I think you're amazing at what you do. You inspire me. And I just have to come to you because I don't want to kick myself later and see that you've joined and I never brought this up to you. I have to share this with you because I don't want to be the one. So there's some verbiage there about I don't want to be the one to kick myself later if you join someone else. I have to tell you how I feel about you. I think that you would be amazing at this opportunity. I don't know if you're open to it, but if you are, I'd love to share it. And if not, no worries. And sometimes I would put in there, this may or may not be for you right now. Maybe it'll be for you later on down the road, but I don't want to go without sharing this with you and find out that someone else shared it. I want to be the first one to share this with you. And if you're not interested, no big deal. So I always add, if not, no worries. If you're not open, I never say interested. I said interested, but I never say interested. I always say open. If you're not open, no big deal, no worries, that sort of thing. And I just leave it it's cool. Because if they don't join you or they don't want information, fine. No sweat off your back. Next. And it also comes across a little nicer than some of those cold messages we get. Some of those messages we get about, joining or buying so many free and this, that, and the other. There's no if not, no biggie. There's not usually, it's I want you to buy or I want you to join, and there's not a leeway out of there. There are some that I reached out to that I just approached as a customer base. So I would say, I don't know if you saw, but I just joined this lash company. I don't know if you wear lashes or know someone who'd wear lashes, but I would love to share the lashes with you. And most of the time they would be I wear lashes, hello, I wear lashes. And I was very careful about who I would message. Let's say, I'll give you Unique, for example. Some of those girls are kind of tough. And if you're with Unique, you know what I mean. So I would message some of those girls and I would say, you know, you're totally slaying your business, yada, yada, flatter them. And I would be genuine. I wouldn't fake it. I would tell them what I really thought. And then I would tell them, I know that you are slaying it over there and I respect that wholeheartedly, but I just want you to know this is what I'm doing. And so if you've ever liked to add lashes to your makeup look, I'm here. Like, I would love to be your lash girl. So with some of those people that you know are going to posture themselves like, I'm with this company and I like what I do and I'm this top leader. Like, don't approach it as trying to recruit them. If they're that person, I would say, hey, I would love to be your lash girl. And a lot of them came back and were like, oh my gosh, I wear lashes every day, or I love lashes, or tell me more. You don't know what kind of response you're going to get. Some of them you totally get to ignore. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So I don't know if that answered your question, Abigail. Is there any other questions about reaching out? I'd love to answer any of those. So okay, those Unique girls always keep telling me that the company says they can't join this. That's true. I've had so many messages from them wishing they can join. Yes. So I can give you a little rundown on a few of the companies that you have to be careful with. So Unique is one of them that you cannot do something else. Limelight, same thing. There's a few of them. I'm trying to think of another one. There's a few. Synergents, when you get up to a certain level, you can't. Of course, most companies, once you get to a certain level, you can't. So a lot of these companies, you've got to be very careful. Okay, in Rodan and Fields, you got to be very careful what they're doing. And I've had girls from Rodan and Fields like, oh my gosh, I really, really want to join, or and they can't. They could do it quietly. And I had a Unique girl who joined quietly. I've had a couple, but I'll give you this example. I had a Unique girl who joined quietly, and I don't think that she anticipated deciding to go all red aspen when she first joined. I don't think that was her intention. So they can join, but it had to be quiet. So a lot of times they're just going to tell you that to kind of get out of it. Or if they are saying, I really wish I could, I really hope that the girl that I'm talking about that's flipping to all red aspen will do her video soon, because I think it will be a very good video. And if more people start doing that, where they take a big leap, because she's in our team, so I'm not going to say her name. She's not feeling well right now, or I know she'd be on here. But when she flips over and she does a video, and she's been with this company so many years, that speaks volumes. And that's something you can share with your network. That might help with some of them, because if they're not very high up, it might be worth jumping. So those are some of the companies. Did you have any other suggestions or questions you had? Like with Lip Sense though, if you're not, with Synergents, if you're not up at a certain level, you can do both. And that's why we have so many Lip Sense girls here. Otherwise, I think that we are good as far as reaching out. Or did you have any other questions about reaching out or verbiage? So we can hop off. Just a quick little spiel about verbiage. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really did. You know, I did a lot of voice messaging. Voice messaging works. It's beautiful. They get to hear your voice. It's just like being on a live, but you know, they get to hear from you. And it's so much more personal. If I were to message Angie and say, hey, Angie, you know, I love your profile. It just inspires me. And I love to see your posts. They make me laugh, blah, blah, blah. You know, and you're going on. The flattery is even more. And when you're writing something out, it does sound a little more spammy than if you did voice message it, because then that's more of a cut and paste look. So if you do voice message, it goes a lot further, just an FYI. But I would suggest using the referral method time and time again, because you never know what that referral method will end up being. A lot of times I ask for the referral and they're like, I wear lashes, I want to know about it. So totally that's the way it's gonna be. So I would suggest that. And I will tell you, I message people before I get off here. I message people who I've never spoken to before. I have I have thrown that out the window. I know it's cold messaging, and I know that they call it that, but it's a way that you approach it. To me, cold messaging is cut and paste, so impersonal. That's not me. So if I'm going to message you and I've never spoken to you before, I'm going to go check out your profile. I'm going to look at some things, and then I'm going to message you, and I'm going to kind of intertwine a conversation, some flattery, and talk about it to where it's not just cold. Okay. Or a lot of times I will say about half and half, I won't ever mention the company, and I just reach out to get that rapport going. And after a couple times of talking, a couple things, there's got to be a point where you say, what do you do? So, you know, where are you from? Are you married? You got kids? What do you do? You work outside the home. And so that question is going to come back to you. What do you do? So I do open up conversation a lot of times. If they say they want to set up a time to call, and I'm reading this. If they say they want to and set up a time to call and don't, what do you do without sounding pushy? Oh, okay. So if they set something up and they want to talk to you more, or they want to connect with you more, you set up a time, and if they don't follow through, you need to back off. That's when posture comes in, and that's a whole other live I'm not going into. So you need to posture yourself, because you cannot be needy. It has nothing to do with being pushy. You don't want to sound needy. You don't need them. They need you, and you need to make yourself postured enough to make that clear. So at that point, you don't reach out to them for a while. When you do reach out, you say, oh man, you know, I'm sorry I haven't followed up. I've been so busy building my team, or I've been so busy with this. And I just wanted to reach out and see if you wanted to set up that call. You know, I know, you know, you missed it last time. I had to kind of fill that spot. I mean, you need to posture yourself. You don't need them. They need you, period. Okay. So end of discussion. Okay. Any questions about reaching out before I hop off of here? And then we will be good. So I hope that you watched my previous live about fear. If not, go back and watch it. It's very important. And I did get a little red in there and get a little hot, but you know, it's okay. Sometimes we need a little tough love. So reaching out, verbiage, I gave you some of those. I wish I had my little book in front of me, but I didn't. So it really is pretty simple. Some people, I just messaged and said, you know, hey, and just started a conversation to see if it was even somebody I wanted to work with. But if I know, like if I see somebody's profile and I just know I want to work with them, I do the whole flattery, message them. I just get out there. I don't care anymore. I don't care at all. I will voice message them and tell them, I love your vibe. I love what you do. I totally respect what you're doing. But if you ever think of wanting to do something else, I'd love to lock arms with you. Okay? So, all right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.